Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks post-game podcast. Hawks lose 4-2 to the Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier-less New Jersey Devils. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson. Mario Tirabassi will join us shortly from the United Center. We've got a lot to get to tonight. We are going to talk about the Hawks' loss, of course. We are going to get to the newest angle on the Kyle Beach scandal. Not going to spend a ton of time on that because we've got full shows this week. We will, but we're certainly going to mention it. It was Native American Heritage Night, so a ton to get to in this one. Before we get started, please smash the like button for us on the YouTube page. Same deal with the subscribe button. Smash that for us too. Podcast listeners, make sure you're following or subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, and do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. As we do every game, we're going to allow you to vote for the game's 4th star of the night. The 3 stars of the night, all Devils: Curtis Lazar, number 1, Max Willman, number 2, and Vivek Vanacek, number 3, our nominees for the evening. Ryan Donato, who had a goal, +1, 3 shots, 2 hits, and 9:38 of ice time. Taylor Hall had a goal, was -1, 18:53 of ice time, 3 shots, 5 shot attempts, and Alex Vlasic in his return, +1, a team-leading 6 shots on goal, 2 block shots, and 17:46 of ice time. So get your votes in for the 4-star of the game, and we'll reveal the winner at the end. But let's kind of recap the scoring here. Hawks got off to a really great start in this game. We're taking it to the Devils early, very much like the Florida Panthers last night. Hawks got to a good start, scored a minute 51 into the game. Taylor Hall, standing at the side of the net, buries Tyler Johnson's rebound. Wyatt Kaiser gets a secondary assist on that one. 13:07 into the period, the Devils tie the game on a power play goal. Connor Murphy was called for interference at 11:28. Kind of a weird, I guess, maybe it was a penalty, but
it's the right call.
It was a little ticky-tack, I thought.
Impeded the Devils player from taking the ice that was in front of him.
Yeah.
It was the right call.
Yeah. All right, fine. Dawson Mercer kind of tucks it in short side right in front of the net on Soderblom.
As Zaitsev is getting his lunch served to him, getting boxed out in front of Soderblom.
Yeah. Then later in the first, 14:41, Max Willman gets a breakaway.
Ooh.
Hawks had a good shift going, and then Korchinski gets a puck back at the blue line. They kind of hops on him a little bit. He tries to settle it down. Willman takes the puck away, gets a breakaway, and scores 2-1 Devils at that point.
Korchinski made a good hustle play to get back and kind of prevented Willman from really getting fancy with the puck. Soderblom should have had that one.
Yeah, we're going to get into Soderblom's game.
That's a save you got to make because it wasn't that difficult of a shot. It wasn't like he was allowed to go forehand, backhand, and deke around him. It was pretty straight-on shot because Korchinski made it back and had his stick there. You got to come up with that save.
I agree. Second period, no scoring, but boy, the Devils really took it to the Hawks in the second period. Sloppy game. The shot attempts in the second were 26-10 at 5-on-5 in favor of the Devils. If we go to all strengths, it was 32-13. They really had the ice tilted in the second, and this is something that we've seen kind of habitually here from the Hawks lately. The second periods have left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, it wasn't good, and the Blackhawks could not get any sustainable offense because they were getting owned in their own end, struggling to get the puck out, and when you finally get the puck out, you have to make a line change, so you're just dumping it in to get the fresh guys out there. you get no offense. They were lucky they were only down 2-1 heading into the third.
Yeah. Third period, 4:35 in, Curtis Lazar redirects a shot from John Marino. This is another one we kind of agree that maybe Soderblom should have had. It was a redirection, but close that 5-hole down.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, that's a soft goal. But when I saw the replay, I think he was kind of cheating a little bit to the left, thinking maybe the pass was because he had a devil to the left, like on that post right there.
Yeah, devil on both shoulders this time.
So I think he was starting to cheat, and because of that cheat, it left the 5-hole wide open, and the puck, boom, right between the legs, and that's all she wrote.
As the period went on, the Hawks kind of upped the intensity. Now, obviously, down 3-1. Need to generate some things. Started getting some chances. Ryan Donato at 15-14 tucks in his own rebound. Athanasiou and Dickinson get the assist there. Then at 14:59, they're like with literally like 0.8 seconds left. McLeod puts the empty netter in, his third of the season, and that seals it. Final score is 4-2. And even without Hughes and even without Hischier, they're two best players in my opinion, at least up front. This is just a case of a better team winning. To me, the Devils are a true cup contender if they can get their goaltending figured out. If Jack Hughes comes back healthy and is the same player he was to start the season, they're a threat in the East. Maybe not the favorite, but a threat.
I mean, I picked them to win the President's Trophy and the East. So yeah, they're a deep team, and they proved that tonight. This was a night they very easily could have phoned one in. Said, we're playing the Blackhawks. We don't have Jack. We don't have Nico. If we lose tonight, all right, we've got the excuses built in. We're down on our captain. We don't have our captain. We don't have our best offensive player. How could we ever beat the mighty Blackhawks coming off that huge win last night? So, and it looked to be the case, for the first 8 or 9 minutes. That Murphy penalty changed the course of the period.
The second one, the cross check?
No, the one where the interference call.
Yeah.
Because the Hawks were in control, and then they went on the PK, gave up that power play goal, and the Devils had the momentum from there until the Donato goal in the third period.
They really did. And it was, I looked at you at one point in the game, I go, the Hawks should try having the puck.
It would help. It would help their efforts for sure. It reminded me of the Cup era, the 2010 Hawks that just kept the puck away from you.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to make a comeback on us because we have the puck for 57 minutes. It's what it seemed like. The Devils are still a very good, very deep team. Timo Meier is an impressive player, a big guy that
he is their Hossa. I know he's not as good as Hossa, but he is their Hossa.
And one other kid that I'm super impressed with seeing him play in person for the first time, or at least the first time where I was focusing on him, Kevin Ball is an animal.
Yes, he is.
He is gigantic. He is mean.
Yeah.
But he's got some skill and he can move. If that's what I think the Blackhawks are hoping Alex Vlasic kind of turns into.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can get that meanness, a little more of that physicality to go with the size, I mean that's.
I think that part of the game can come with experience, can come with time. I still think we have a bit of a I'm a new guy trying to figure my way out, trying to survive a little bit thing with Vlasic. But
and he's more worried about just making the right defensive play than being, just hang out with Corey Perry for a few more weeks.
Yeah,
and you'll learn how to be sneaky dirty and, push some people around every once in a while. And I'm not criticizing Alex Vlasic in the least. He's been their best defensive defenseman all season long.
I agree.
But the Devils, they're a really good team. And if they, Vanasek was really good tonight, but you could see
early though, kicking those rebounds.
He looked like those highlights of Darren Pang they showed early, late in the night, just kicking everything around. And, it was just like, get to the net. Taylor Hall scored on a rebound. Juicy rebound, boom, goal. And then for the rest of that period, he was putting the puck right out in front.
Yeah.
Nobody was there to clean it up. Missed opportunities. But if they get that settled, after that first 10 minutes or so, he robbed Tyler Johnson at the end of the first period, flat out.
Yeah, that was a great save.
Dropped his stick and did like a Superman pose and somehow
shades of Marty Brodeur on that one. Uncle Dad. Look it up.
Tyler Johnson's had a rough couple of games. He had that 2-on-1 last night that just missed.
Yep.
Tonight he gets robbed. Like, he's got to be going, what do I got to do here? Like, I'm getting these great chances. I'm just not burying them.
Well, in that play, that the robbed goal that Dickinson set up, I'm like, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. And then Dickinson gets it over to a wide open Johnson with a wide open net. And, man, Vanacek just jumps over and saves it. Great save. Got a $20 super chat here from Justin, who I think is newish in the chat. Yeah, it says, the stamina of this team seems lacking. What could be the reason for this? Aggressiveness seems low as well. Am I wrong? Anyway, still the new guy from Athens, Georgia. Love listening to y'all guys. Thank you for the y'all. Keep up the good coverage. Well, a couple things. They are on the second end of a back-to-back, so that's part of the fatigue factor. I also think when you're playing a game like New Jersey, and even to an extent last night, Florida, even though they won, they spent a lot of time defending. They spend a lot of time.
Those teams are big, heavy,
Yes.
on the forecheck, not giving you an inch of space, not like, so you're working your ass off to get the puck out of the zone
all game.
all night. And by the third period, you got nothing. Now you're doing this pretty much the same thing second night in a row. It's no surprise they ran out of gas.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's an overall team conditioning issue by any means.
No.
We watch them practice. They practice hard. There's very few Blackhawks practices that are low pace.
They're not dogging it.
No.
They're just getting owned in their defensive end too much, and it kills them.
They're a little bit slow. Like, you've got, like, we love Nick Foligno, we love Corey Perry, all those things, like all those qualifiers, but they're not fast skaters. Tyler Johnson used to be. He's not anymore.
Right.
Ryan Donato isn't a speedster. You've got speed with Bedard. You've got speed with Reichel. You've got a little bit of speed with Taylor Hall, even though he slowed down later in his career.
Yeah.
They're just not a fast team. So that's part of
Kurashev's
it,
got
too.
decent speed.
Korchinski's fast.
Of course, you got Anthony C, who's fast, and about it. And
Yeah.
So but the speed's coming.
It is coming.
The speed is coming. Like
Moore and Nazar coming up.
Those guys,
for sure,
those
yeah.
guys are fast. Paul Lewinsky, if he gets to the NHL, is another really fast guy. The speed's coming, so they know. Kyle Davidson is building this team to kind of after, like I envision he's got a combination of the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning. He watched those two teams in the Stanley Cup final 2 seasons ago and went, let's just take the best things that both of these teams have and morph it into one and see what we can do.
Yeah. Ellen K with a good point says there are a few players impacted by the back-to-back more than others. Perry, Bedard, Korchinski, youngest and the oldest. I thought Bedard had a really solid game in this one. I think a little bit we've seen this from him somewhat as the year's gone on, where he's looking to pass when he should maybe shoot. Had a 2-on-1 with Kurashev. Shoot the puck. Chances are, I mean, if the goalie stops it, you're going to get a rebound that Kurashev can handle. He knows how to angle his shot to have the rebound kick out towards his line mate. You know what I mean? Like, but he, for the first time in a while, he got over that 3.5 shot mark, had 4 shots, 5 shot attempts. And man, I'll say every shot he takes looks like it hurts the goalie. They're so fast.
And I think a lot of the times it probably hurts them because they're probably not expecting it to hit.
It's like hitting him in the wrist, or like, you don't see him gloving it or squaring it up.
No.
It's always hitting him in a weird
on him
spot.
so fast. And he's still, for all these goalies, it's the first time they're seeing that in person.
Yeah.
You can watch as much video on him and his release as you can. Till you see it in person, it's the first couple times, it's probably surprising the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And how fast it gets off his stick and onto you, especially with a wrist shot. The torque that kid produces with his wrist shot it's amazing.
Yeah. Lots of new names in the chat. We'd love to see it. Thank you for being here. Make sure you smash that like button for us. We'd appreciate that. Get in the habit of doing that when you're with us as well. Like we said, Mario's going to join us here from the UC in a little bit.
Because he just messaged us in Slack saying they've been outside the door for over 15 minutes. They still haven't opened the locker room yet.
Ooh.
That's not a good sign.
Boy, that's
Having
interesting.
They're having a chat.
I mean, that's interesting. I'm curious to see what comes of that.
We'll find out what it is.
But I don't leave this game looking at it as something that I think requires a team meeting. They played a team that's better than them. Like, that's reality. It's real. Like, it's the reality. Like, at no point did I feel like they were just mailing it in or not trying. The fight was there. The compete was there.
Well, we'll see what the deal is.
I'm interested. I mean, maybe that's Luke's way of saying, or maybe it's the players, because Luke always says he defers to the players. He's not the one to go in there and flip over tables, but maybe the players are saying, Foligno and other guys are saying, hey, we can't have games like this. But I really just kind of wonder, I don't know. What do you say? They're just outskilled in this one. I know it's people want to be mad and they want to flip tables over and they want the fire and the passion, but I just watched this game they're just out talented.
Well, I mean, we said that too in the Boston game, but that was when Luke was super disappointed about those one-on-one battles, not winning those individual races, those one-on-one battles to get the puck out of the zone. So it could be some of that again. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll get updates on that soon. Usually, when the game ends, we get downstairs. By the time we get to the locker room, you can hear them after a win. You can hear the music. But it's usually 3-4 minutes tops we're standing out there before they open up the room. So for it to be this long, something's being chatted about in there.
Interesting. All right, we've got a lot to get to. We have some people asking about the lawsuit file. We will get to that. But why don't we take our first break before we do? Are you doing Hero Bread or am I doing Hero Bread?
I'm doing Hero Bread, so you got to lead us with...
I'll do Midtown.
Lovely Midtown peoples.
Brand new sponsor here at CHGO, and we are very pleased to have Midtown Athletic Club on board. Their 4 Chicagoland locations, Palatine in the Northwest Burbs, Bannockburn on the North Shore, I'm not allowed there, Willowbrook in the Southwest Suburbs, and the Midtown Athletic Club and Hotel in the middle of Bucktown and Lincoln Park. The Midtown Palatine has launched a multi-million-dollar transformation of the club, which will be complete in early 2024. Listeners can lock in favorable rates if they join before the end of the year. And if you want to go check it out, go to midtown.com/CHGO, and you can get a tour of that brand new one in Palatine or any of the Midtown Athletic Clubs nearest you. They've got so much cool stuff going on there, and really, when you talk about the ultra premium gyms in the Chicagoland area, Midtown is number one. They've got super luxurious locker rooms with wet and dry saunas and premium amenities, amazing outdoor indoor pools and hot tubs, and a collection of boutique fitness studios with more than 100 classes per week included in your membership. This isn't gym quality. The spaces are boutique quality. It's a beautiful place. Go check it out. They've also, if you're into pickleball, which is the new hot thing to do, they've got you covered in Midtown with indoor-outdoor courts for tennis and paddle tennis as well. Head over to midtown.com/CHGO to tour the Midtown Athletic Club nearest you. Do it.
And when you're done working out at the lovely Midtown Athletic Club and you want to go home and replenish, but you want a little healthier option, make that sandwich with your Hero Bread. If you're looking for a low-carb option to fit your lifestyle, or if you have some dietary constraints, founder Cole Glass baked 100 muffins per day before he found the perfect blend that fit his allergy constraints. And that's what pushed him to start Hero Bread. The taste and texture of the bread, sometimes you get I've tried those low-carb breads before, and they just feel like cardboard and just no flavor. Taste and texture of the Hero Bread, it's always soft and fluffy. It's always flavorful and, dare I say, scrumptious. It is. It's got high fiber, ultra low net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar per slice. Plus, right now, for our CHGO friends and family, use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you're going to get 10% off your very first order at hero.co. Hero makes sliced breads, which are the greatest things, I hear. Buns, tortillas, they're available at hero.co and Amazon, but you want to head over to hero.co because that's where you're going to get 10% off your first order. They have Hero Bread also has fewer calories than any leading national brand, 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Load up on the good stuff, cut out the bad stuff. Hero Bread. Head over to hero.co and use our code CHGO to save on Hero Bread today.
All right, we're going to get more to this game when Mario joins us, but we do have to cover the story broken by our buddy Phil Thompson today for the Chicago Tribune. another accuser has come forward regarding Brad Aldrich. We're not going to get into the details here because we know
they're not new.
They're not new, but I mean the specifics of what have been brought up in this new lawsuit, because I know we have viewers and listeners of different sensitivities. If you'd like to find that story, the details are in there. But to be clear, this accuser is the second person in the original Kyle Beach report. This is not a new report.
Not new allegations.
It is not new allegations. It is the same report, but now John Doe number 2, or was
number 1, I think.
Yeah, this one is John Doe number 1, wants to come forward finally and has filed their own lawsuit against the Blackhawks. I'm trying to get to the bottom of what really the Hawks can do. And look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't study law. I've never studied law. I never thought I would have to, know so many legal things to do a hockey podcast, but here we are. From what I understand, it doesn't matter that McDonough and McIsaac and Bowman and Quenneville and all those people and Rocky Wirtz are no longer with the organization for whatever reason. The organization can still be sued. I know there is some issue about the time from when it happened to the lawsuit that could play a role. If I'm predicting what happens here, this is just a gut feel, is there will probably be some sort of settlement.
Yeah.
And I think that the Blackhawks knew that this day would come eventually for this other John Doe, the player that is not Kyle Beach. Whether or not we find out the identity of this John Doe, I don't know. We should not try to. When that player is ready to reveal, if they are, it's up to them. And I've seen a lot of people say, like, well, why is this person waiting so long? It takes victims time to work up the courage, work up the confidence to pursue these sort of things. Because, look, a lot of people praise Kyle Beach for his bravery, but there's also, for every 2 people that praise him, there's 2 people that go online and call him names and slurs and derogatory things that he does not deserve, that are not warranted, because they're just fans of the Blackhawks and they just want this to go away because it's uncomfortable for them. Mark Lazarus is a much better writer and much more eloquent than I am, and he summed it up beautifully today for The Athletic, basically saying it's okay to be excited about the future of this team and the leadership in place now, and Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner, and to believe they're doing the right things. But at the same time, don't forget what happened to Kyle Beach and to this other John Doe. The organization turned their back on them, and no matter how much time passes, no matter who leaves the organization, it still happened, and it still needs to be remembered. And as much as we would all love to move on from this, John Doe and Kyle Beach are not able to for their whole lives. So let's try to be a little respectful towards them, understand what they went through, and just understand that it's part of it. And we talked about this the other day when the Ottawa Senators got cost a first-round pick, and everyone's like, the Hawks get Connor Bedard for covering up a sexual assault, and we kind of got annoyed, like, oh my God, we're going to hear this forever. We are. And those are the consequences of covering up a sexual assault, of doing what the Hawks did. This will hang over the organization for a long, long time. Well, be it fair or not, it's going to linger.
Every time something like this comes out, it's just a reminder. Now, in the article that came out, it listed all the people that are at fault for this, and none of them are with the Blackhawks anymore. But you probably, two things. This means then Joe Quenneville, Stan Bowman, should, every time this comes up, is a reminder that they don't belong. They've lost their privilege. Privilege, not right.
Yes.
Privilege to be in the NHL. You know, we get, all of a sudden, you know, timing is everything, but last night, all we hear about from other hockey podcasts, what the Edmonton Oilers need is Joe Quenneville. F off. No.
Right.
No. Sorry. And he's not the biggest enemy in this. Stan Bowman's not the biggest enemy in this.
I hope that John McDonough gets his comeuppance.
That's my final point. The guy that needs to get sued for all this, and needs to have some accountability is the guy that skated away free, John McDonough. Because I firmly believe, based on reading the entire report and based on having conversations, that Rocky didn't know what was going on. At least not the extent that's been going. John McDonough, it stopped at John McDonough.
And you could take that thought real quick about Rocky and say he should have. And that's true. But he didn't. From what the report found, that he did not know.
So, I just want to see John McDonough get his comeuppance for this.
It's amazing that he hasn't.
It's
amazing he hasn't.
The buck literally stopped at him. So
he's on record as saying, in a joking way, like when things were all great, I can't find the quote right now, but I'll paraphrase it. Like, I tell Rocky only what he needs to know. Like, I keep X percentage away from Rocky because
he lets him know what an owner should know. That's it.
John McDonough thought he was like Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction. He thought he was like this badass czar. He was a jerk to his employees. He ruled with an iron fist. He managed out of fear.
People
he was
celebrated the day he left.
He was Mr. Smile on camera, and behind the he was an effing tyrant.
Yes.
So, listen, he is the one. I would love to see somebody sue John McDonough.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I would love to see it. Maybe someday the Hawks will do it for gross negligence in your job of not reporting things
Certainly
properly.
Sounds something.
I don't know.
If they've got to keep taking a beating every time this comes up, then everybody. This is the part that just infuriates me because it's obviously the scandal, the cover up, everything that was allowed to happen and not taken care of properly. That is infuriating. But it's just now it's going to be forever, like you said. That the Blackhawks are like the outrage that came out today, and it's like none of this information that came out today is new. It's not a new allegation. It's just the other person in the original report saying, "Okay, it's time for me to get some compensation for what happened to me and what was taken from me."
Yeah, and there's people online saying it's a money grab. That's what a lawsuit is. You feel like you need to be compensated for the suffering you withstood at the hands of the organization whose job it was to protect you.
Right, and
that's it.
And we've had these discussions so many times, and I look forward to the day we don't have to anymore. But it's important that we do. We owe it to, we owe it to the victims, and and the only way you can make sure this sort of thing never happens again is to remember that it happened once before. If you pretend that it never happened, you're setting yourself up to repeating history. So, I'm going to let it play out. Everybody knows how I feel about this whole thing, but, I have no law degree. I don't know how these things work. I don't know how these proceedings work. So I'm just going to let it play out, and we'll see what happens when they come up to some sort of, finalization. I agree with you, Jay. I think this is just going to be an out-of-court settlement. It will get done quicker. It's not going to be some drawn-out process. And, yes, I hope that, eventually, karma catches up to John McDonough.
Yep, I hope so. Because
I know there's a lot of people.
It's a bad guy who has skated for a long time.
I know there's a lot of people silently and vocally rooting for that too.
I'm vocal about it. Sorry. I don't, bad people. He's a bad person. And I'm just going to say this, like, first and foremost, if anyone comes in this chat and blames Kyle Beach for anything, you are insta-blocked. Like, it is 2020 frickin' 3. Read anything. Pick up an effing book. Read an effing newspaper about what victims of sexual assault go through and say, he was bigger than the other guy. He should have just kicked his ass. F off. Yeah. F off. You're an idiot if you believe that. And I'm not afraid to say it. And again, if we see any of that crap in our chat, you're gone. I'm serious. Like, I don't need stupid people like that. I'm sorry this is a bummer. I'm sorry this ruined your Blackhawks buzz for a while. Guess who? It does it for us too. We don't want to be talking about this.
No, I don't.
But we have to.
Like waking up this morning and seeing that and just going, all right, well, we got to have more uncomfortable discussions tonight, and it's part of the business because we're not gonna ignore it. We're not just gonna sit here and pretend that the bad stuff doesn't happen. It's irresponsible.
Yes. When Mario sent the link, my response was, "Oh, for F's sake!"
Pretty much,
because we don't want to do this. We don't want to talk about this.
I want to talk about hockey.
Yes,
nothing but hockey. I do.
Yes, it's
but we owe it. I have too much integrity. I feel it's a responsibility.
It's not even. But Greg, you do. I agree. You are in the top 5% of people I know in terms of integrity.
You don't know a lot of people.
But it's just being an effing human being.
It's not hard.
That's what it is. It's not hard to feel for victims of, no matter how big and strong they might be. No. Kiss my ass.
Because listen, it's people in power. It doesn't matter how big you are. If the person has power over you because of a power structure,
yes,
predators operate out of positions of power. The two things that allow them to continually do what they do is the power over people and a code of silence. And Brad Alger's got both of that here.
Speaking of silence, John McDonough can't find the camera once he left the Blackhawks in the April before all this stuff came down. Interesting, Mr. Spotlight couldn't find the spotlight all of a sudden when the lights turn the other way.
How that works. That's usually what cowards do. They go and hide.
That's right. It's just gross, and I know it's a bummer, like we said, but we are not going to ignore this because we can't and we shouldn't. And I encourage anyone who is feeling like, boy, this sucks, and I'm really bummed out about it, go read what Mark Lazarus wrote. I think he really did a good job of saying you can still enjoy watching Connor Bedard score goals and watching Kevin Korchinski thrive at the NHL level and still feel remorse and regret and want the Hawks to be held responsible for the things that they ignored in 2010.
You can be angry that it happened and happy that the organization is moving forward.
And I do believe that with Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner and Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson leading this organization, they are going in the right direction. They do have and have taken action to make people feel safer, more empowered to speak up should things happen. They have told the players, if you feel in any way, shape, or form threatened or abused or whatever, do not hesitate to tell us. There will be no consequence for you to come and speak to us. And it's not just the players. It's the employees. It's the security guards. It's the janitors. It's the IT people. It is everyone with a Blackhawks logo on their paycheck. They should feel and have been, from our understanding, told unequivocally from the people at the top that if you feel in any way unsafe or uncomfortable, you have full power to speak up about it, and you will not suffer a consequence for it. Which, again, to me, it's great. It's how it should be. It's the bare freaking minimum.
And we're also in a different age of sports and hockey in general, where the players are more empowered. We're seeing it more in the NHL. Wow.
It took one guy to use pride tape.
Right, the pride tape stuff. The Mike Badcop story. The players were like, no, we're not. So as the players I don't think something like that could happen in today's game and not have something done quickly. I would hope not, at least.
All right. Couple other things I want to get to. AJ makes a good point, and I think this is a separate conversation. But AJ says what makes me mad is people don't care about the victims. They just want the opportunity to shit on the Hawks. That is true.
That is a lot.
There are a lot of people that hate the Blackhawks for whatever reason. And look, if it's because of the Kyle Beach thing, so be it. But yes, there are people that just take every opportunity to remind you because their team missed out on something that they wanted. It's not about the victims. It's about what their team missed out on.
Yep.
So, yes, that happens too.
There was no outrage when the Blackhawks drafted Kevin Korchinski or Frank Nazar or Sam Renzel in the first round the year before. which if they were going to lose draft picks, it would have been in that draft. There was no outrage there.
Right.
If the Blackhawks had second or third and drafted Leo Carlsson, there would be no outrage. So, every time you bring up that stuff because you're just mad your team didn't get a player, you're the asshole.
Yep. All right, let's take another break, and we'll get back to the old hockey, but definitely wanted to make sure we get to that. First, if you want to throw some shekels down on hockey, there's no better place to do it than CIRCA Sportsbook. They've got tight money line splits in a low hold model. Games will strive to be a minus 110 split on the CIRCA Sports menu, unlike other sports books that may use minus 115 or minus 120 splits. CIRCA Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets like futures, golf tournaments, etc., especially compared to other books. They've got high app limits and transparency. CIRCA does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. That's not fair. We encourage bettors to download and explore all betting apps available. Compare the lines from each sports book, and you'll find that CIRCA is the best. They are real people behind the CIRCA Sports brand, and they resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots. All aspects of the apps are being run by the same team that runs the main CIRCA Sportsbook at CIRCA Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the CIRCA Sports Illinois at CIRCA Sports Illinois app. Fix that copy at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Again, download the CIRCA Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for CIRCA events, watch parties, and tailgates. And if you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That is 1-800-426-2537, or text GAMB, G-A-M-B, to 833-234, or you can visit areyourreallywinning.com.
And if you're in the market for a new floor at your home, we've got Chicagoland legends on board now. Empire Today for all your flooring needs. With Empire Today, you get to shop at home, which is always a great convenience. They have the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. That checks a lot of boxes, as
Waving
they
to
say.
Michael.
Yeah, it's not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. See ya. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So when you're running out the door, you can have your nice feet on a nice floor. So, of course, they have copycats, but they can't beat us. They can't beat Empire on quality, service, speed. So they advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is just putting flooring in your home they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire also has this really cool thing, the virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how the new floors will look in any space. It's easy to use. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. They take away all the frustration of shopping for floors at the big box stores. They make it easy. So call Empire today for all your flooring needs. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
All right, as we await Mario, I know he's talked to some people in the locker room. Seth Jones has spoken. Corey Perry has spoken. We're going to save what they had to say for when Mario jumps on. But I wanted to go through a couple of the numbers here. And one guy felt really interesting in this game. And I said to you, boy, it feels like Wyatt Kaiser has been on the ice the entire game. And at one point, he was first in ice time, sort of dialed it back in the third period, but finished with 17:34, had an assist. He was +1, 2 shots on goal, 2 hits, also credited with 3 blocked shots. We have said a lot about Wyatt Kaiser and his confidence and his swag and his belief in himself. And I think we're starting to see it really translate on the ice. He had a rough start. Not that he was bad, but there were a couple things that he got a couple bad hops, a couple bad bounces, maybe a bad read here or two.
He looked like a rookie defense.
Yes. I feel like over the last, especially the last 2 games, but the last 3 or 4, Kaiser has really settled into his own here and is starting to find his game. He is starting to learn the speed of the game. And a reminder, when we talk about the speed, we're not talking about how fast the skaters are. We're talking about how quickly things happen and how quickly the puck has to be off your stick and on the way out of the zone. In college or in the AHL, you have a lot more time to make a play with the puck. In the NHL, guys are on you right away. And I saw Darren Pang make a point of it that the Devils are on you quick as hell. Yeah. And when the Hawks had that third period power play and the extra skater, it was like, do they have the extra skater or do the Devils? Why does it feel like there's 25 Devils players on the ice right now? They close in quick. And those are the sort of things that these young players, Kaiser, Korchinski, Bedard, everybody, you've seen it with Bedard too, have to get used to the speed in which defenders close in on you. And I think Kaiser is finally starting to figure, not finally, but is starting to figure out how to, the mental clock is starting to tick for him better.
It's slowing down. It's like to say, it's slowing down a bit for him.
Yeah.
He's never lacked the confidence. That was one of the things from day one of training camp, just watching him in the room. You're like, this guy knows he belongs here, acts like it, isn't afraid. One thing I'm liking of Kaiser these last couple of games, besides the overall improved play, he's got a little red ass in him.
Yeah.
I like that. He's got that snarl. Like, he's not going to go out there looking to take people's heads off, but if you do him wrong, he's going to get up and stand up for himself. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not the biggest kid in the world, but he's going up against some of these big power forwards, and he's holding his own, and he's giving it right back to him. I like to see that. We've seen a little of that out of Connor Bedard too,
Oh, he is unafraid, Connor Bedard.
There was that play tonight where he checked through a defender and then got the puck out to the front, and then almost worked for a scoring play. But if you see a Connor Bedard or a Wyatt Kaiser, two rookies that go out there and then they're mixing it up, especially a guy like Bedard that has to affect the rest of the bench.
Yeah.
Like, if Bedard's out there ready to get in a guy's face, then I need to too.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Mario is standing by. Let's just bring him in. I want to hear what's going on here. All right, we're bringing Mario in a second. Remember to smash that like button for us. We'd appreciate that. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, make sure you are following or subscribe there, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. As Mario comes into frame, what's going on?
Hey, jumping in here.
Fill us in. What happened?
What's going on, guys? What
happened?
We had a little bit of a delay getting into the locker room tonight, and it was because of a players-only meeting. We learned about that from Seth Jones, Corey Perry, and Luke Richardson all spoke about it tonight, talking about the team kind of stressing the messages of accountability, stressing just trying to get consistency in their game. Corey Perry talked about needing to be able to play within the team system and be able to trust your teammates and play for each other. And that was a very interesting message coming from those two guys, those veterans, especially for a team like Chicago, who's playing a lot of young players. You saw the two efforts in both games this weekend kind of mirroring each other a little bit. The results obviously different, but the efforts kind of the same, where you had the Blackhawks in last night's game come out with a great start, and then the next 40 minutes they're kind of on their heels, holding on to a 3-0 and 4-0 leads, eventually getting the winner. Whereas tonight, again, they get out to a great start. They get the first goal in under 2 minutes, but then shortly after that, about midway through the first period, they're on their heels essentially for the final 45 minutes of the game. But this time, instead of having a 4-0 cushion to work with, your 1-0 cushion was erased and you're down 2-1, and you're chasing a game against the Devils team that, even though they're without Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes, still a very good team. And credit to Vitek Vanacek for making some amazing saves tonight, keeping the Devils' lead intact throughout the night. But the Blackhawks' second night of back-to-backs, you can't be chasing a game, and that's kind of where they were at. Everybody tonight talked about shift length. that was something that was apparently stressed within the players only meeting as well, as being able to keep guys fresh as possible throughout the night. And Luke Richardson said, especially on the second night of back-to-backs, that's something that needs to be stressed, players need to be aware of. And he said that was something that, as you play the pro game, you get used to that. That's something that becomes a little bit easier to measure with an internal clock, and just how you feel out on the ice. Those shift lengths can feel a little bit more natural. So interesting post-game comments here. To me, my takeaway from it is that it feels like this was a meeting tonight that was maybe veterans talking to younger players about trying to work together as a team, and work on the cohesiveness of this group. As there's veterans here that are here for a specific reason, to kind of play team dad, guys like Corey Perry and Nick Foligno, to young players like Lucas Reichel, Connor Bedard, and Kevin Korchinski. So an interesting post game after a game that the effort was there at the start and at the finish of the game.
I want to hear from Seth Jones here in a second. I know it's ready to go. We'll get to it in a second, but a couple things. Shift length. Your shifts are going to be longer when you don't have the puck. Like you're kind of pinned in your own zone. Like, hey, 45-second shift. Like, okay, I'd love to come off right now, but the Devils have the puck. I can't just leave. You know what I mean?
There have been a few times this year, not just tonight, but where. And you know who's guilty of this the most? It's Connor Bedard.
Yes,
he
doesn't
wants to take that extra offensive shift when he should be getting off the ice, and then it's a one and done down there, and he's stuck for another 35 seconds in the defensive zone because he's got to get back.
Right.
I think that's probably more the thing where when you have the chance to end your shift, do it.
Yeah.
But Bedard is that kid that's just like, I want to keep playing.
Mario's raising his hand.
To that exact point, Greg, Luke Richardson said in the post game he made it a point of Nick Foligno, made it an example of him saying that there are times where Foligno will be in the offensive zone, getting off the being one of the first players to get off the ice, even if the Blackhawks have extended possession in the offensive zone. He'll be a guy that'll recognize his shift length and say, even though they have the puck, even though they're creating offense, he can get off the ice to get a fresh player on while they still have the possession of the puck, and be able to potentially capitalize on that offensive zone time or extend it. He didn't name Connor Bedard specifically, but I think without saying it, that he's a guy that likes to, as he famously said, and you can find it on T-shirts around the city, he likes hockey. So he's going to go out there and play as much as possible. Without naming names or being specific, I would, read between the lines saying that might be something that was a message to a player like him, maybe a guy like, Kevin Korchinski, Lucas Reichel, all these young players that the Blackhawks are playing this year and getting them acclimated to the NHL game. I think that's something that they probably were getting the message directed to them. And being smart about that.
The other thing I want to say too is, like, I like that these meetings are not like, try harder. They're specific. Here are the things, youngsters, you're doing wrong. And there's a bunch of people in the chat saying, like, the Hawks are missing a captain. They need a captain. A fabric C does not change the way this team is led. You don't put a fabric C on Nick Foligno and all of a sudden he's like, like Hulk out. It doesn't work that way. You've got leaders on this team.
He pretty much is the captain
yes,
of this team.
It doesn't.
Same with Corey Perry. You've got so much veteran leadership in that locker room. Nobody needs a C. It's a little, it's not traditional, but we all know why they're doing it.
Yes, Bedard will be captain next year or the year after.
Right. So, you don't need a guy with the captain to get up and start screaming, because you've got multiple guys that did it tonight. And Foligno, without the C, he's the captain of this team.
Yes. He's the captain now.
You just see it, the way he conducts himself. See it, yes. Can't get nothing by you, Zwaski. But, yeah, you see it in the locker room, the way he conducts himself. On the ice, he's, coaching up guys, laughing with guys, he's the team dad and the captain.
Yes. All right, Mario, we should hear from Seth, right? That's definitely worth playing.
Yes.
All right, let's fire up Seth Jones here. This is right after the game, right after the team meeting.
A team meeting about this, we noticed there was a delay.
Yeah, we just had a little talk together. Nothing too crazy.
What was the gist of what you?
Oh, just the way we need to play as a team, the consistency we need to play with. Just talked about the little details of the game that we need to hash out and play together as a team.
Good start and a strong finish. What happened there in the middle?
Really, turnovers was probably the name of the game tonight. Just shoot ourselves in the foot with some of the plays we're trying to make. I know we're trying to make plays and trying to, score, but that's kind of hurt us all year. Odd man rushes against, and it's a good league. It's going to end up in the back of the net.
What did you see in that third goal?
Which one was that?
That was the Lazar one. You kind of going behind the play.
Yeah, just trying to jump on the play, and we just tried to make a play in the middle. It didn't work out. So those are kind of the red zones we're talking about in some of those situations. Whether, not just offensively, but, even out of our defensive zone. Getting a lot of those pucks out and in those situations on both blue lines. Such a key part of the game. Momentum shifts, things like that. So yeah, they score the third one, and it's just a little bit harder to come back.
When you have a team as young as this one, do you have to kind of have these little talks every now and then, kind of remind them of the standard?
Yeah, I remember when I was, first couple of years, there's some of these meetings happen, and you hope that it sticks with you. You hope that it, makes you not change the way you think or play the game, but understand that you have a role in this team, and we have a few words that we live by in this team that we kind of came up with before the season started, and so we want to live by some of those, and want to hold each other accountable. At the end of the day, and it's not mother effing guys and things like that, but if you make a mistake, your teammate should be able to tell you when you're wrong, and vice versa.
What specifically are you guys looking to get more out of it? Is it effort? Is it
just being connected, keeping it simple when we need to be, time, clock management, just the little things in the game. It's just the little details that we're out for. Our shift lengths are too long. It's just small things like that that can really kill you in games.
You guys have had some big wins and followed by disappointing losses. Did that start to wear on you that you can't string the two wins together?
Yeah, we don't want to be a team, great moral win, great victory, and that team that dips the next game and gets lost a day to go that play. So we want to be a team that can string 2, 3, 4, 5 wins together, especially at home in front of our fans, play well. And sometimes it's not about the result. It's about playing well. It's about playing hard, like you said, the effort, and then wins will come.
You only have one goal from defenseman on the year. That was like the last game, and not a lot of shots either from all the guys. Is that something you guys have talked about or trying to work on?
Yeah, when we get the puck a little high, we want to get pucks to the net. We want to shoot as much as we can. We just need more goals. We need to make more plays on the blue.
That's Seth Jones post game. Also, we don't have time to play it, but I'm reading through the transcript here of Corey Perry and how Seth said, we're not in there MFing each other. We're just encouraging each other to play together. 3 or 4 times, Corey Perry used the term brotherhood. He said we just had a good heart-to-heart. That's what's helpful over the course of the year. Is talk about things when there's adversity, and that's the brotherhood. You got to know what to do, or you're not putting anyone down. That's not the message. It's more being brothers, being able to talk about it and figure it out. So, that's it. Is these veterans, and we heard about it the other day. That really stood out to me when I think it was Luke who talked about that Athanasiou play, where he didn't trust his teammates and he left his assignment because he looked over his shoulder and thought, "Uh-oh, my teammates aren't handling this. I need to go handle it," and it ended up in a goal. That trust thing, that playing within the system, that's what they're talking about. And to me, I have been super encouraged by the leadership this year. We've had several occasions where these veterans have said, yo, we got to be better for A, B, C, D, E, F, G reason. How many times did we hear that last year about a players-only meeting? And, like, look, I don't think this game was an effort thing, right? We said that all last year, like, hey, at least this team plays hard. They might lose, but they play hard. But I never heard about a players-only meeting called by the captain or any of his alternates. Am I wrong? Do you recall that?
There might have been one last year that I remember. There was one, I don't remember when it exactly was, but there was a night that I remember it was the same scenario where
I just think the fact that these guys, Foligno, Perry, Hall, Jones, know without question that their biggest job this year is to get these kids ready for the NHL. I think they have jumped at it. And Foligno especially has just taken it upon himself to be the dude who's going to handle this stuff with his core of, assistants, with all the guys that wear A's, and I should throw Connor Murphy into that too, probably. Like, and it's what Lucas said all year. Like I said earlier, he wants the players to handle it, and they are. If anything, this encourages me about the leadership more than question it.
Yeah, and I've learned through my life the hard way. Most of my lessons have been learned the very hard way. But in any relationship, be it personal or professional, it's always a good idea to talk things that might be bothering you out before they become full-blown problems and resentment.
Thank you.
May happen. So it's a case of the veteran saying, all right, before this becomes a real big deal, let's talk it out right now before any of us get mad.
Well, and you also, if you don't talk it out, you've got a certain percentage of the party guessing.
Well,
is so-and-so pissed off at me or whatever?
As I always tell my better half, if you got to let me know if I'm doing something that pisses you off, because I don't know if it pisses you off otherwise.
Exactly.
Because I'm really bad at reading the room.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think the leadership, along with Luke Richardson's demeanor as head coach and all the experience he brings, both as a player and as a coach over the years, it adds to that as well. So not only do the players feel like they have the ability to kind of lay out that message and those expectations, I'm sure it's also going to be coming from the coaching staff as well, in that same manner, where you're not necessarily talking down at pointing fingers. You're trying to point out what can be better, so that it collectively as a group, you're all pulling in the same direction.
Definitely. All right, we got some segments to knock out.
Yes.
What's ready first, Steven?
I mean, they're all ready.
All right, fire away.
Fire it up. Keep us guessing.
All right. Maybe I should have done the other one because I can't find the music now.
Oh no!
So they're not all
All
ready,
right,
are
let's
they?
do
Smart
who's
guy.
your
All
hawk?
right, now we have
Who's Your
a
Hawk?
team
Oh,
only
who's your
meeting.
hawk first? Oh,
All right.
man.
Well, hey, at least we're not ending on Who's Your Hawk.
Well, you're never going to guess who won.
We did our very tough tie-breaking system because pretty much all three of our guys were for most of the night.
Yeah.
No points, barely any shots, but Foligno and Mario's pick gets the nod because he had 4 shots on goal, had a bunch of hits.
2 shots,
yeah.
4
2
shot
shots.
attempts, 4 hits, and a block shot.
Where Reichel and Kurashev combined for 2 shots and nothing else. So Foligno was the most active and noticeable of those 3 guys. So Mario back in the win column.
Team dad for the win.
Yes.
Damn. I got to get going, man.
I'll take it.
Oof.
Long way to go. You can't
falling behind.
You can't win the championship in October and November,
You can
but
lose
you
it.
can lose it. So
That's for sure. Well, at least I don't have to wear the helmet. All right,
Neither
Connor's
do I.
corner. Oh, 4-star.
4
Let's
star.
do it.
All right, 4-star.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a runaway today.
I thought it might be. 4-star of the game goes to Taylor Hall. A goal -1, 1853. Of ice time, 3 shots, 5 shot attempts. And boy, he has been the last 2 games. He's been awesome, calling for the puck, aggressively, feeling good, scoring goals. This is a Taylor Hall we thought we were getting when they signed him or traded for him this summer. This is the best he's looked as a Blackhawk, I think, without question.
Yep, no doubt. 2 great games back to back, coming off an injury. You love to see it.
There's our 4-star, and now it's time for Connor's corner. Yay! All right, no goals tonight for Bedard. 4 shots on goal, 1954 of ice time. He had 5 shot attempts as well. Won 57% of his faceoffs. Had a hit and a block shot. He's playing all around hockey.
Greasy.
He certainly is. So there's Connor's Corner. All right, Mario, drive safe. Thanks for the insight tonight. I know it becomes a little more hectic and stressful when you get the team meetings in there. So thank you. Make sure you're following Mario on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. That is Mario Tirabassi from the United Center. We've got some super chats we need to knock out before we say goodbye. So why don't we take care of that?
Sure.
First, we've got a $20 super chat from Justin who says, what's the best place to go see prospects? It doesn't seem as easy to follow as football is. College has recruiting sites everywhere. NFL has mock drafts everywhere. Are there YouTube channels that are big on this? Websites? I would recommend following people like Chris Peters and Cam Robinson from Elite Prospects. Get yourself a subscription to Elite Prospects. Help them out. And just follow all the leagues, right? Follow the Western Hockey League. Follow college hockey sites. Like you kind of... With hockey, you kind of have to do the work yourself because prospects come from so many places.
Yeah, it's not like college. It's not like the NBA or NFL where it's like college football and basketball. That's it.
Right.
And those games are on TV every day, every night. It's not the same with hockey. You got to put in a little bit more of the work. But Elite Prospects is a really good place to start. They always have rankings and they've got profiles. And then once you get some names, and that's when you start doing the research. Head to the YouTubes and start looking up some highlights and forming your own opinions. I will say that be careful of falling in love with players just by watching highlight packages on YouTube.
Yes.
Because highlight packages are just that. It's only their good plays. So you can fall in love with a guy because you've seen 4 minutes of his best plays, but you haven't watched him actually play.
Right.
And then you're like, wow, what was I thinking there?
And if you want to keep up on Hawks prospects, is there somewhere great they could do that, Greg?
Yes.
That you know of?
The Rebuild Report that comes out every Wednesday by Mario and myself over at ALLCHGO.com. The first 2 weeks were free, but it's going back behind the die-hard paywall starting this week, I believe. Mario and I will update you on all the Blackhawks prospects all over the globe, AHL, CHL, Europe, college, wherever they're playing. If they did something, we're going to tell you about it. So become a diehard, and you're going to get access to that every week. Jay does his weekly Blackhawks beat. We're going to do our Hawks hits after games. You get all kinds of premium written content over at allchgo.com. Not only Blackhawks, but all of our beats. You're going to get the 20% off all events. So all of our diehards that joined us last night to Takeaway, they got their tickets 20% off.
Yep. You
can get 20% off our final tailgate, Bears tailgate, which is coming up this Thursday, where you can win a $200 gift certificate to any one of the Chicagoland locations for X Golf. X Golf is kind of indoor Top Golf kind of place. You can work on your game all winter long. They're going to be at our final tailgate this coming up Thursday ahead of Bears Panthers. And if you're there and you're a diehard, you could save 20% off and get a chance to win a $200 gift certificate to X Golf. Plus, all of our great merch. When you sign up, you get a free shirt or hat of their choice. I hear hats are going to be available soonish, real soon.
I would say like within the next 12 hours or so.
So, plus, you get to hop on the members-only Discord lounge where I try to chat in there as much as possible.
I got to be better.
But there's some good camaraderie. A lot of people that are on our nightly post-game shows are there, too. There's lots of good chat there. Good times. So become a diehard and get all that great stuff.
Absolutely. And I see Josh saying that he wants to pick up a gift, diehard subscription for cricket, which is awesome. And yes, you can. You can go to allchgo.com and you can buy a gift membership for anyone, not just cricket. So that's a great gesture. We appreciate that. So you two can connect however you need to connect and get that done. That is very, very cool. We love to see that from our diehards. And that's what this is all about. The CHGO at the end of the day is a community, and diehard or not, we want you to be part of it. We love to see our community being cool to each other. That is awesome, awesome stuff. So thank you for that. And I toast you with a nice cold Goose Island beer, Chicago's beer since 1988. We are supported by Goose Island Beer Company, so support them. You can get the Oktoberfest, any of the great Beer Hug family of beers, the 312 Wheat Ale, the Pocket Pills. I love the Green Line. They had that at the United Center last night. Had the Blackhawks Pale Ale. I was misled by a bartender at the United Center that she said that what's the Bulls one called?
Bull and Goose.
Bull and Goose and Blackhawks Pale Ale are the same. They are not the same beer. So if they tell you that at the UC, tell them they're wrong. It is not the same beer.
They're full of Bull and Goose.
But I love the Blackhawks Pale Ale. I think it's different from last year's, like just ever so slightly, and I like it more than last year's. Good stuff. But get yourself some. Get an ultra fresh brewery exclusive beer at the Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne and Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. And I saw a bunch of new super chats come in while we were doing reads, so let's knock these out quick. Young Dangle God on brand. Misquoting Seth Jones, saying we need Kaner back now. Gives us his $1 as he does every show. Thank you. KRCHI Sports says, obviously early, but Perry Foligno 1-year extensions. I would bet on Nick Foligno being back next year. Perry, I'm not so sure. I don't know. But I would be surprised if Nick Foligno is not back next year.
I think if as long as he wants to play, he'll have a spot here. And it's up to him if he wants to stay or not. But I think they love everything that he's offered them, and they want some more.
Yes. Lebowski5 says, I don't know why everyone wants to jump to give Bedard the captaincy. When Taves was drafted, the first thing that was said about him was his special leadership quality and being future captain. That was not the case with Bedard. That's true, but I also think, like, when it's all said and done, Jonathan Taves will go down as one of the best captains in history. Not every captain in the league is a Jonathan Taves quality captain.
Right.
So I think that they're going to give it to Bedard because he is the face of the franchise. He's done everything right. He is available. He does lead by example. He works his ass off. He's on the ice longer than anybody.
And he's going to get more vocal and more with the leadership as he gets older and more mature. And
yes,
the leadership is there. The way the kid works, that's how he leads.
Yes, thank you. And Windy City Hockey with a $5 super chat says, great show as always, guys. High level of respect for my family. Yes, Windy City Hockey's mom DM'd me on Twitter, and I appreciate that. I will not share what she said, but I appreciate the nice comments there. So we love to hear from all of you. Thanks for being with us. Yep. And not every show is going to be seashells and balloons, but I think by now that we're almost 2 years into this thing, that we are going to be honest with you guys. We're going to tell you what we think. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're not going to tell you things suck when they don't suck. You're going to get the honest opinion of all three of us every show, because we're going to give you what's real. And sometimes you're going to like it, sometimes you're not, but at least you know what you're getting from us is genuine, and I hope you appreciate that, because we appreciate all the support you've given us. So that's the least we can do, is just give you our honest opinion on what we're seeing and what we're hearing.
I second that.
Yeah. All right, we are back tomorrow. No practice, so we'll be back to stretch legs a little bit.
Maybe around the league day tomorrow.
That could be fun. There's stuff to get to.
There's not going to be much Blackhawks stuff to talk about, hopefully.
I wouldn't think so. But
who knows what tomorrow morning is going to
never know. You never know what
Give
Phil
it 24
Thompson's got
hours.
brewing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I do want to talk a little bit tomorrow, too, about Native American Heritage Night.
Yeah, we didn't get to a lot of that.
My favorite night of the year. Once again, the Hawks knocked it out of the park, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But we'll talk to you Monday at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.